Uh, Today I'm dropping as many videos I need to because I just have the time, and I realize that my time is limited, and my time is limited, and I understand there'll be a day I won't be able to speak. So that's why I make these videos. I'm close to 2,000 videos at this point, and it's just making sure that my last words are said the same thing. You know, the last video, it's been a while since I've made a video of like literally the obviousness that this technology, this program is meant to rewire and alter the human brain, right? And the trickeries and the tactics that this trash around you are supposed to make you not think that way. As obvious as it is, as validating as it is, it's so funny how they're like, oh, we didn't prove that word. I was like, let me guess. No. You prove that you are not manipulating my brain like you've been manipulating others. You prove that you don't do the pedophilia type of torture, right? The perps that I deal with, I wish I could show a picture of some of them. Some of them is so sad. Some of the way they even look like, you know, something's not all the way there. And I'm not just trying to be insultive of somebody's physical look, but you can tell sometimes you look at some of these childlike perps, it's like, you are the most pathetic. It's so sad. Now I know I can go to an office in the middle of New York City and I'll see clowns, but those clowns look like more clowns when you see them try to negate validation of this nature. I will never allow them, and I do that. I love to put that. I love, for example, the videos I make. I go to the office and listen to them, and I see this trash behaving in certain ways, thinking that we can behave these ways, and our behavior is going to negate this clear validation. Because if you go watch my videos, the same videos that you see, that the government since the 60s have been working on technology to alter the human mind. That's the purpose of this technology. That's what target video are dealing with. And the target video are testifying and saying the same things, that they're all dealing with some of the similar tactics that are being manipulated. But I'm supposed to think that with this group of individuals doing that to me, they're not doing the things they do to other target individuals. But they're different because they look this way, and they use these weird ways that I'm supposed to be tricked into think that I'm not being manipulated because they look this way. Trash. They use verbs just like we're mapping. They are altering my brain and changing my brain to have this experience. In the last video, there's like this like little toddler who's maybe 4 or 5 year old. The thing with her is just she has a funny expression, kind of like angry, like serious, but she got like a funny face expression. She got a funny face, kind of helping with them not being able to fully that makes it more obvious when they manipulate me, right? But I also understand that they're the one trying to make it look like I'm thinking normally, like they're just not manipulating my brain. I know all the experiences I'm experiencing of that nature is them playing my brain, designing my experiences the way they want it, and creating that experiences. They're the one making my brain have the manipulations for me to perceive these children this way. It's degrading. It's designed this way. It's mean in this way. But that's what they do. And it's funny with me. It's like, no, but what we're doing by designing this way, we're designing those experiences by making you think the way you thought as a child. We're mean like that. I'm just thankful that this level of stupidity is not something I've ever been involved in. Can you imagine? That I'm saying that, well, we're changing your brain, but we're changing your brain the way you used to think when you were a kid. And then makes us the protectors of children. There's this trash. The reason why I make this video, because what they do is they love to bring up what I did as a child. They try to exaggerate what I did as a child. What I did as a child is an appropriate act of a child that never happened again. That's what kids at that age can do. I remember there was a time where I was finding articles about like kids can do this inappropriate act. It's not because they're pedophiles or something like that. It's because they just have this, they are at an age where when boundaries, they don't know exactly. It's being a part of like a child brain development, right? Children can do things that when they're adult, they won't do it. Children can do things that they won't do a year later because of the brain of a child. is not fully developed. Right? Now, you hear this retard. I wish I could show you this trash. Try to tell me, no, that's pedo. No, that's an inappropriate act a child did. But you doing these nasty things to me make me experience this pedophilia type of tormenting tactics because you do the pedophilia type of torture. And then you try to make me identify with what you make me experience today that I didn't even experience as a child. But tell me that you make me experience what I experienced when I was a child. That's mentally retarded, and you guys are the pedos doing the pedophilia type of torture. And bringing up an act of a child, because children, you've done trash, low-life shit, regardless. And they use a lot of children like individuals too, which makes it even worse, because they're like, oh, we're just investigating. This trash, which are being groomed to be involved in something where they want people to have experiences that are degrading of that nature toward children, and try to gaslight them. I wish I could show you. I feel bad because this trash lives around here. It's pathetic. When in truth, they designed those experiences. And I guess they wanted me to think, you know what they're doing? Ah, they just make me think like a kid. They're mining. They are altering your brain. And they do that on purpose to make you have these experiences. They're altering your brain in a way that is going to make you have a reaction that's degrading. The trash that is around me, for example, which is around the other target individual, I try to gaslight you. For example, I heard this trash yell with like so much fake emotion, like, we're mining. I'm not trying to be just animated and comical here. That's what it sounds like over there. Because she thinks by saying that, I'm gonna think I'm not being manipulated, and that's they try to use verbiage of nonsense. Basically, like, if I've tried to describe what they try to say, they go into my brain and seeing some things there, and whatever that's there, they're just bringing it up and put it in, and like, that's mining. It is truly a mental handicap that they have this purpose. Let me just say that they truly want me to think in this illogical way. And then when I'm able to put things in the perspective of how stupid it sounds, like what they do, try to make me think they're not doing, which they're not manipulating my brain in these ways. They're mining. They tell me, oh, you're just crazy. Because, target individual, what is happening here is this external aspect of what you're dealing with on top of the manipulations. If you deal with the V2K that's manipulating your brain, the synthetic telepathy technology, the clowns around you are supposed to break you down and gaslight you. And one thing about brainwashing and gaslight you, when you have the ability to articulate yourself and see things in a logical way, in this case, the logical aspect of things is they're altering your brain. And they're altering in these degrading ways for the purpose of breaking you down. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's clear. Target individual, you've dealt with this synthetic telepathy. You who've dealt with that. This manipulation, not all target individuals deal with that. I understand this. There's different aspect of this program where the manipulations in some cases are applied, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just physical torture, sometimes it's psychological torture, but sometimes it's both. And the reason why I'm able to articulate so well is because I heard the same tactics being applied onto others in the same ways. Manipulating the libido in these degrading ways, making a target individual have sexual arousals and aim that toward children. I heard that. I heard a woman literally describing the torture that she deals with as the pedophilia type of torture. I've seen the book of this Robert Duncan calling one of the most common things to do to target individual dealing with this V2K is to implant child porn in target individual's brain to make them imagine these things. I've heard that. I've heard the continuous ability of playing with your libido in these degrading ways. I've heard target individuals who are no longer alive today saying they do this, forcing me to think in this pedophilia. I've heard all the aspect of what they do to me said by others in ways that are so descriptive to what I deal with. It's obvious that they do these things. And I heard that they are rewiring the brain of target individuals to break them down and utilizing this technology as a warfare technology. and trying to make you identify with these manipulations. Everything. In my brain, that no, with you, we're not utilizing the aspect of pedophilia type of torture. For you, we're just clown. How convenient. You usually could do the pedophilia type of torture, but in this case, you're not doing that. You're just lying. It's stupidity. Coming from the people who do the pedophilia type of torture. Just think about it. It's stupid. Do you understand how stupid they want me to be? And they act in this they behave this way. You know what? What would you even think? And then sometimes they're like, we proved it. Because remember what you did as a child? It's like, let me just say this. I can prove that you do the pedophilia type of torture, right? You have something that you talk about me as a middle school child that I completely forgot about. I have something that I can hear a woman calling it a pedophilia type of torture. I have testimonials. No, I have a man who wrote a book, who interviewed 1,000 target individuals, saying almost all of them are saying they do these things. No, I can prove that you guys do this pedophilia type of torture. I couldn't. What can I bring up? You can bring up what I did when I was in a freaking 8th grader, right? Because we know children's brain are so like adult. I can bring up what they do to these women who even have children. Nah. What proof is more logical? Making you think the way you thought when you're a freaking child? Or bringing a book that this man wrote, interviewing 1,000, and all of them, if not all of them, almost all of them saying that this woman, who's a teacher to children, calling it the pedophilia type of torture, these mothers saying they do this program of perversion where they're aiming toward children. I wonder what... These people say they manipulate the libido. Let me think in these critical ways. Oh, and I know they torture children, by the way. So the people who torture children in this program torture them for the purpose of developing this technology, just like every other target individual that torture children and women, that tend to utilize the pedophilia type of torture, will not do that to me. Because remember what you did as a child. And proof, you hear the trash outside yelling. To not try to disorient you, that wouldn't be like a kind of brainwashing tactic. And this trash saying, oh, what you did is, no, that's a child doing something stupid as a child. But you know that very well. Because you know that you manipulate my brain, and for you to manipulate my brain this way is because you want me to experience that. And why would you want to make me experience that? It's because that's the pedophilia type of torture that they do. And then you present yourself as the protector of children that happens to be in a program that tortures children. Target individuals stay strong. I want to die in hell than live in this fucking disturbing life that they're in. With this gimmick, failed psyops and facades and brainwashing tactics. Stay strong. And by the way, I didn't bring up the other validation. Guess what entities in the United States have been recognized for trafficking the most child porn in the United States? Yeah, the Department of Defense, by the way. They are the same entities that have been developing this technology that does not alter the mind. Stay strong.